Keith Russell, here at the conference to talk about two things. I'm from a company called Babel, and we specialize in QA and localization. But specifically what we're doing here at the conference is we're launching a new service, TestMyApps, and this is specifically aimed at indie developers. So it's a portal, testmyapps.net, where indie developers can go up, upload their game, we test it on a variety of handsets, or we can localize it for them, and it's all turned around online. When they get the reports back in the morning, or they get the files back in the morning. And it's very low price, stunningly low priced, and that's what we're here at the conference today. We come from an environment, we've been doing this since 1999. We come from an environment that's very much driven by our connections and our reputation in the market, etc. So, we work with the likes of EA and Activision and Ubisoft and all those big companies who all know us and come to us for a certain service. And then over the years, developers started to come to us directly rather than publishers, and we started to help them with QA and also with localization. Now in the indie scene, there's not 10 companies, there's not 100 companies, there's 1,000 companies. Many of them don't know us, many of them have not heard of us, many of them have not had previous experience with us. So it's a fun challenge in how do you message out to 1,000 companies, this is what we do, this is how we can help you. Yes, we work with all the big guys, but we also work with two guys in North London that make a brilliant game that's been very successful. And we work across all the platforms, so mobile, in terms of BlackBerry, Windows, Android, iOS, but also tablets, and then through into lots of handheld consoles, PS Vita, right through to consoles, browser games, Facebook games, etc. So, with this company with a huge lot of experience and a great deal of knowledge that we can help people with, but the challenge is how do you tell 10,000 developers what we can do and how you do it? I can't meet 10,000 people. So events like this where we get a chance to speak, or we get a chance to sponsor the awards, we're sponsoring the Big Indie Pitch yesterday, is a chance for us to kind of broadcast out that message. So that's what we're here doing. A big part of our business, certainly for the last 5 or 6 years, has been Asian companies, Korean, Japanese companies with their IP wanting to bring it west. So what we're doing is going from Korean into English, and then we are properly localizing the game and specifically culturalizing the game before we then go on into, okay, let's go make a French, the German, the Spanish, etc. version. So it's helping them get into the West with the right content. It's also giving them advice on how the UI should work and how the in-game mechanics should work, even the type of game. We get approached by, say, Japanese developers who've got pachinko games, and you're really going to say, no, they don't really work in the West, nobody's going to buy pachinko games. Vice versa, a lot of US and European developers looking at China, looking at Korea, and thinking, well, we'll just make a Chinese version of our game. And it's like, well, okay, firstly, there is multiple types of Chinese. So which version are you talking about? And also understand that what they expect from the game, the type of language that's used in the game. Again, you targeting at children, you targeting at adults, you targeting at teenagers, and be very aware that how you localize the game and how the game's perceived, even right down to how you localize the little iTunes tombstone that talks about your game, will impact your sales. I think keeping up with the technology, in terms of platforms, every day there's a new piece of hardware coming out, and we've got to get hold of that. We've got to get it in-house. We've got to get our head around how we're going to test on it and how we're going to make it work. Languages less so. We work pretty actively in about 65 languages, so I don't think many people are going to go beyond that mix. Really, I guess our biggest challenge right now is keeping flexible. And what I mean by that is everybody's working on a project, everybody's trying to get that project to the best possible position before they bring it to market. And sometimes they want to hang on to it for another week, sometimes they want to hang on to it for another 3 months, sometimes they want to hang on to it for another year. So our job is trying to go, okay, well, we thought we were starting Monday, but we'll divert those resources to something else, and we'll go work on something else while you finish the game or get further on with the game before you need it. So flexibility is probably our biggest challenge right now. I think more of the meet and greet scenarios, more of the chance where companies like ourselves that have been doing it for a long time, that have built up a lot of experience, can kind of stand up in front of audiences and say, look, I'm not here to sell you anything, I'm here to give you some advice. You know, the grey hair that I've got is from being at the bleeding edge for many, many years. Here are some lessons that have been learned. Here's also some ways of learning yourself. And you know, there are a lot of people in the games industry who are very generous with their time and with their knowledge, and it's giving them opportunities to impart that. And that will help a lot of the new developers that are coming on board. So yeah, more of the kind of meet and greet scenarios, more of the chances where we can impart knowledge and impart help. We're not always here to sell something.